Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video and happy Thanksgiving. It's the day before Thanksgiving and I'm about to head out of work to head north on my regular 500-mile drive. I was debating whether I should do this or not. Holiday traffic is always a bear. So far though, the route looks pretty clear, but this has taken me as long as 14 hours before in a gas-powered car. So who knows? And this time it's going to be a little bit different because we're basically heading into a storm front. There are flash flood warnings along the way and near our destination, power outages, things like that. So, hey, could be fun. So our trip out at this point is, it's going a lot slower than it usually would. And I actually ended up putting Selma in as my initial destination. Now, I might still stop at Delano along the way. And part of that is just being a little bit more conservative. But the other part of it is, too, it's a holiday weekend, so you just sort of have to anticipate that things are going to be a little bit busier than they would be under normal circumstances. As it is, we're going much slower sort of getting out of here than I normally would, and it's traffic I think is going to be bad all the way around, so there's just no getting around it. Internal combustion engine vehicles, their mileage gets worse as traffic slows down. Electric vehicles, their mileage gets better. So if we are stuck in traffic that says, that it drops the average speed by 10 miles an hour, it's still a net loss because your fastest trip speeds will be when you're going as fast as is legal and safe. But the increase in efficiency at least offsets some of that, impact. So, even though you're actually driving slower, you'll spend less time recharging and you'll get more out of each recharge. Sometimes a 10-minute slowdown is, unavoidable. So. Of course, they're, I think, saying to take a different route to get onto Interstate 5, but yeah, I really don't know that it matters much. Oh well. I'm just trusting Google Maps to be correct here. I don't know if that's the wisest choice, but oh yeah, look at that freeway. Woo. I almost wish they would tell me that I could just stay on the old road. So part of this is due to construction, and I'm guessing part of it is holiday traffic, and then of course they're saying there's also an accident. So we'll see if we can at least get out front of most of the traffic, but this is what the holidays bring. Cheer and good tidings for all. The crazy thing is we haven't even hit the weather yet. This is just getting out of Los Angeles. Ugh. But this seems to be baked into the length of time that Google was anticipating that it would take, so we'll see. Yeah, they're saying this traffic on Interstate 5 is going to last, it looks like, for a couple miles up, and then it will hopefully start to clear out a little bit. So it might primarily just be this construction zone, which is a bit of a bear even when it's not a holiday. This isn't going to be that bad, and hopefully most of these people are going Interstate 5. And then, of course, the other question is, what's the likelihood that the chargers are going to be busy? So I actually have a feeling it's not going to be worse than it would be on a normal Friday night. So, I mean, but that can still be pretty bad. The public charging infrastructure in California, even though it's ahead of most other parts of the country right now, it still is not really adequate for the surges at this point. This time last year, or a year and a half ago, it wouldn't even have been a consideration for me whether the chargers were open or crowded. But now, even though we have a lot more chargers than we had then, it's still a question. And part of it is, Interstate 5 as a route isn't opened up yet, and so essentially when ChargePoint can get their 3 charger, it looks like, locations online along Interstate 5, and Electrify America can get at least half of their Interstate 5 sites built out, then I foresee the public charging infrastructure being able to support the population for at least another couple of years. That's even if GM, Hyundai, Kia, Jaguar all sell most of their EVs in California. So we've just crested the summit, Tejon Pass, and we're at 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. I don't know why I'm forgetting at this point, but that seems rather high to me. Now, and most of our cruising was at the speeds I would have expected. So maybe it's the wind, maybe it's just a combination of factors, but yeah, the efficiency right now seems to be a bit higher than I was expecting it to be. And this is part of why I programmed in for Selma as opposed to Delano, because with Selma, I can see on the display whether I can make it based on my battery, and Delano is an easy stop to make. It might just be, like I said, a quick pit stop along the way, but if I have over 40% battery, I think it might be worth it to just shoot all the way to Selma. Like I said, the big concern for me, and this is one area where I do feel like the charging networks need to develop, is having real-time status updates. It still wouldn't necessarily help with something like Selma, because it's still an hour away from Delano. So who cares? It's free when I pass by Delano. It might not be free by the time I get there. I mean, maybe if there were a way to integrate where someone has an intent on stopping there and the system communicates and says they're 60 miles out, they have shown an intention to want to charge there based on a route that they've entered. So basically, rather than even real time, if the network can get to the point where it's actually anticipating whether someone is actually going to be charging there or arriving to charge there, it could help manage traffic a lot better that way as well. you'll be able to just see the freeway from here. It's just a line of cars. So as far as the eye can see. So lots of traffic, but this is one of those areas where, again, I really do prefer Highway 99 over Interstate 5. There are more lanes, more places to stop, things to do. Yeah, you do hit more bigger cities along the way, but usually those are pretty fast moving with pretty decent traffic. So Fresno, Bakersfield, multiple lanes, all still at freeway speed. So it's really not that much of a slowdown. I would rather have 4 lanes at 65 miles an hour than 2 lanes at 70 almost any day on almost any holiday. We're approaching Delano now, and I think it lists 65 miles to go, but our efficiency is pretty decent right now, and traffic's flowing. I'm just under 55% battery. I'm just under 50% battery, I should say. So even if I did want to stop, there'd be very little to gain from it. Based on what I recall about driving this route from the Chargers here in Delano, and it's just, I believe, the next exit, to Selma, only requires about 30 to 35% of the battery under normal circumstances. And our efficiency seems to be higher than normal, probably because the temperatures are cool but not cold. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of wind, so that's probably why. Would be my guess, would be the factors. But that being said, yeah, I think we're just shooting past Delano at this point, not even looking back. And yeah, I'm sure the slower driving also had a little bit of something to do with the improved efficiency. So yeah, at this point, it's just cruising on to Selma, and hopefully we have at least 15 to 20 miles of range left. So if we get there and anything really bad has occurred, then we'll just be able to move on. Yeah, I don't know. If it's just the stations are crowded, it might be worth waiting. We'll see. Well, that's way more efficient than I had any business being for this, but I am here at Selma, and as I thought, the 2 Chargers are occupied by a Leaf and a Bolt EV, so I'm going to go check what their status is, and I might actually plug into a level 2 just while I wait, so we'll see. So just FYI, here we are at Selma. You can see it in the background, but do not be this Leaf owner who's here parked, not even parked well. I had to back into this spot. Why? Because they're at 100% battery and they just left. So who knows where they went. Don't do this. You should have your EV card removed. Well, that was interesting. Yeah, just sort of an awkwardly parked Leaf that was plugged in at 100% when I arrived, and luckily I was able to navigate so that the cord would reach, and they were already at 100%. So their session was just ended. I don't know how long they had been plugged in, but mine started automatically. I swiped my card and went straight to charging. So it wasn't so bad. I mean, I lost like a minute or two hooking up the level 2 and then coming over here to investigate. So I wanted to check what the Leaf was up to, and the Bolt EV, depending on where it was in the state of charge, I might have just navigated myself to a position to wait for them to end, right? So, but either way, that's just all around bad form, poor parking, and on top of that, you're at 100%. If you're that close to a full battery, you really don't need to be hooked up to a DC fast charger. And if you are, you should be with your car. And I mean, even still seeing that, I'm seeing a lot of new EV owners who are charging up, in my opinion, way too high on public chargers. And I don't think that's what they should be doing. Uh, with the Bolt EV specifically, you want to end your charge at about 65 to 70%. Something like the new Kona electric that's coming out, you really want to end your charging somewhere between like 70 and maybe 75%, maybe 80% if you really, really need the range. But that would be about the cap of it. And really, 80% is true for most electric vehicles. Um, anyway, I just wanted to make one other comment about this. Our efficiency was ridiculously good getting here. It was 49.7 kilowatt hours used, and and this is coinciding with that estimate of I have about 55 to 55.5 kilowatt hours available. So that does represent about 8% battery degradation on my part. But the other thing I wanted to note is because GM gives the estimate of 90 miles in 30 minutes. Well, I think it's based on EPA estimated miles, which is just under 4 miles per kilowatt hour, and 125 amp chargers, which, is what we're on. And right now I'm, averaging 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So my rated range increase, after we're verging on 45 minutes now, I've added 110 miles, which is basically in keeping with what their estimates say. So I'm running the defogger right now just because we're sitting here, we're in the car. But the thing is, it is starting to rain. I think the prevailing winds aren't going to hurt us, but rain hurts your efficiency. So this is a bit of a trap. When you have high efficiency early on, it could fool you into thinking you have enough capacity to make it to your next destination when you don't really. So at this point, I have my boring hat, I have my rain gear all ready, and we're driving into some hefty rain, and I'm just waiting for this 45-minute session to end, and I'm sort of targeting Modesto as our next stop. But I'm fully expecting our efficiency to drop significantly due to the rain, due to the rolling resistance, and all of that. Oh, and our charge session just ended. So right up to the magic number, 65%, 45 minutes, just 33.23 kilowatt hours delivered, which is just about what I'd expect. People always forget the one big advantage of driving through the rain is it doesn't matter that you didn't wash your car. Dirty bolts, dirty bolts. Yeah, so I'm gonna watch my efficiency fairly closely here, just because, again, I think we have inflated numbers, but also the rain is going to take an additional toll. So where we're shooting for is the middle chargers in Modesto, and if that doesn't work out, we could always stop somewhere else along the line. Madero would be fun, but it's a little too early. I did kind of want to check out the Walmart chargers that were going in there with Electrify America, but that's a story for another day. And Atwater Village, or Atwater Plaza, Applegate Plaza and Atwater, that's what it is. Applegate Plaza. It would also be a nice stop. Maybe I should just test it to see. The thing is, I don't like having just a single CCS charger, especially not on a day like today, on a night very much like tonight. Tell them Chatamo sent ya. Just kidding. Anyway, but Yeah, so I mean, I guess I could swing by if it's open. I just don't want to do another one of those swing by with all the road construction and have a huge delay only to see a bunch of vehicles there. I did run into a long-time viewer of the channel, so hey Bruce, it was nice meeting you and your daughter. They were on their way up north, so they're having to drive through this as well. And if I got the story right, while I was in eating, there was another Bolt EV that was charging, and one more Bolt EV showed up. So in a span of a very short period of time, we had 5 electric vehicles at that charger, which is all the more reason that Leaf driver can't just park there, can't just sit there. So if you're wondering, yes, I am going to attempt the Atwater Village Applegate Plaza charger. It's not that I can't make it to Modesto, it's just this is a more convenient stop if it works out. I guess maybe it doesn't work out, though their lights are on, so I'm kind of curious if they just got here or if they're going to be leaving. Let's see. Or if they just have the car on. Because if they're about to leave, it's not worth it for me to... Let me see. All that work for nothing. So they probably have 15 minutes left. I'm not going to wait around for it. This is why I don't come to this charger very often, is because it's still one of the single dual standard chargers. I might as well just try these ones first. They're not ideally located. These are the ones in the series, but there are 2 of them. And I mean, if these are taken, then I can go to the ones at the Vintage Fair Mall. But we have a fellow Bolt EV owner here, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the far charger. But this is why I do it. There are 2 chargers. We're only 300 miles in 6 hours, so that's not great. Now this charge session here in Modesto, I usually keep it pretty quick, so this is really just a stopover between the 2 longer charge sessions that I do. Part of that is because my last leg tends to be well over 100 miles with 70-mile-an-hour freeway and 1,000 feet in elevation increase, where this is really calm, usually pretty easy driving, and there are a lot of chargers in the next 40 to 50 miles that I end up using. All right, we stepped down in charge. This one stepped down a bit early, like at 52, 53%, so 35 minutes. I actually would have ended the charge earlier, but I wasn't really paying attention. Well, Flyers gasoline. And I guess EVgo chargers. Alright, so I guess 7.5 hours since we left, 363.6 miles. So we're here in Galt now, and I'm gonna get Hayden up and running. Well, I guess some people didn't put the plug back. I don't like the fact that I didn't hear it click. So this might not actually work. No. Yeah, so I think someone broke this head, it seems like. Yep, that is what it seems like. And that explains why it didn't latch in there, or didn't hold on. Alright. I guess this is a one charger location as far as CCS is concerned. Unless, oh boy. No, okay. Had me worried there for a second. So I'll go ahead and report that Hayden's CCS is broken. And this will probably be a longer session. A lot of times I do this longer than I need to, just because I'm heading up into the mountains, so having excess charge is just a good idea. We could actually have the power out when I get there, so I'd like to at least have a reasonable charge when I get home, or at least be able to push it up the mountains if I want to. All right, well, one broken charger, but so far nobody's come by. So I mean, if they were CHAdeMO vehicle, it wouldn't matter anyway. I think the charger's fine. It's just that attachment on the CCS plug snapped. Actually, it fell out of the container again, so I'll put it up there. But yeah, I'm charging past the step down. It's down to like 23 kilowatts right now. We're heading up toward about 75% battery. And I don't need to charge this long. I could have left already and made it, but like I said, I don't want to risk getting up there, having the rain and the wind and everything. We have possible mudslides and things like that due to the fires that were up there. So um, I want to be able to get up there with as much battery capacity left over as possible. And this isn't really an ideal stopping point for me. I would have much rather stopped someplace like Sacramento or that Electrify America site that's going in and done again. The problem is none of those are up yet. And so if I don't charge here, I mean I could try to navigate a charger in Sacramento, but I don't like charging in major metropolitan cities, and that includes Sacramento. And then the Sac International Airport green lots has been having some serious issues recently, so I haven't even bothered trying to charge there. So whatever it is that's going on with green lots, I'm hoping they can eventually figure out how to fix their charger. But in the meantime, I think I am about ready to get going and head out and up the mountain. Only about 120 miles left to go. This isn't gonna stay in with the broken latch, so I'm just gonna make sure it's out of the way. Yeah, EVgo's been adding the saddle or stirrup for the CCS charger because this is really, I think, more of a CHAdeMO design, and it doesn't work well for the CCS plugs, and I think that's part of the issue that they've been running into. So yeah, we're at 73%. It's been basically a 45-minute session. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end it now. We are gonna have some wind and rain, but I think the wind is actually coming from a beneficial position. So yeah, just go ahead and get out of here. Unfortunately, by the time I come here, almost everything is closed. So, but that's the nature of the beast for these trips that I take. So, oh well. 2 a.m. exactly. So about 10 hours and 20 minutes. And I did go a little bit low. The wind was actually pretty bad on my way in, so worse than I thought it was going to be. It's 49 and it's raining pretty hard. Well, starting to anyway. I can tell there's a lot on the way, so we made it just in time. The battery's a little bit low, lower than I thought it was. I thought the wind was going to be more consistent than it was, but it was blowing about 15 to 20 miles an hour, um, and was never really helpful, even though it wasn't a headwind. So just kept back and forth as a crosswind. Either way, so I burned through a little bit more energy than I thought I would, but 10 hours and 20 minutes to get here, that's about what I would expect, given it, we were delayed at least about 20 to 30 minutes just getting out of Los Angeles. But yeah, otherwise, another successful trip in the books. I'm going to plug in and get the poor little Bolty charging. I hope I don't get electrocuted in the rain. That doesn't happen. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. It helps me do these fun little trips. And rain. Thank you for watching.